Trevor Lawrence is a special football player who I think has a chance to go down as one of the best to ever put on the helmet, and when it's all said and done, he could be the best to ever do it. But how did he get to this point, and what was his journey like to get here? Well, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the rise of Trevor Lawrence, how he became a quarterback phenom, plus I'll talk about his Clemson career and where I think he'll be in a few years. But first, since you clicked on this video and you are listening to me talk right now, I know you are a football fan, so why not take a quick moment to subscribe to the channel and help me reach 6,000 subscribers by the end of August. I make videos about college football, and we all know Trevor would want you to subscribe. Let me know who I should do next down in the comment section below, and turn on post notifications so you never miss another upload. Now let's get started with the rise of Trevor Lawrence. Before Trevor became a star at Clemson and broke every Georgia high school football record known to man, he actually grew up in eastern Tennessee. He would roam his grandparents' horse farm and play football with his family there. Trevor originally started out on the offensive line, where he played with kids 2 to 3 years older than him. Flash forward a few years, and him and his family had moved to Cartersville, Georgia, and Trevor was starting to become a star. He decided to give up basketball and baseball to focus full-time on football, and I think it's safe to say he made the right move. At Cartersville, he was under one of the best high school coaches in the country, and the school was a powerhouse. He decided to let his hair grow out, and he decided that would be his thing. His faith became the most important thing in his life, and he says that it's always helped guide him into both the person and the player he wants to be. Once he was a starter for Cartersville, he basically became a superstar from the very beginning, as he was named the National High School Freshman Player of the Year. He had one of the best arms in high school football, was winning games, and had all the immeasurables. He became the next big quarterback prodigy in high school, and every school in the country wanted him. At one practice, 24 coordinators and coaches came to watch him play, and he had so much hype around him. As a junior, he threw for 3,904 yards and 51 touchdowns en route to a perfect season. Going into his senior year, he wanted to focus on his team, his play, and his academics, as he would take a break from social media and everything was going according to plan. He would go on to break multiple Georgia high school football records during his senior year, and he led them to the state championship game. His teams went 42-2 in his time as a starter, and he had now become the best quarterback in state history, the guy who he beat out, Deshaun Watson. When it came time to recruiting, Lawrence was considered a generational prospect, and literally every school in the country wanted him. Many thought that Trevor was going to ultimately decide between Tennessee, Georgia, and Clemson. He grew up in the Knoxville area, and his favorite player growing up was Peyton Manning, hence why he wears his number 16 jersey, so the Vols had a real chance. Georgia was the home state school, they were a power, and he would have been able to cement his Georgia legacy at the college level. He loved Coach Sweeney at Clemson, and they were becoming a college football powerhouse, and he could also follow in the footsteps of Deshaun Watson. Unlike a lot of big-time prospects, Trevor handled his business, didn't try to act all full of himself, as he didn't need a video, and he just had a short and simple commitment. He said, "After a long and thoughtful process, I'm blessed to announce that I'm committed to Clemson University." And then he said to respect his decision and no interviews. Georgia already had Jacob Eason and Jake Fromm, so they honestly didn't need Trevor, but it was still a big blow to Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs. Nevertheless, Trevor was a 5-star recruit, the number 1 overall kid in the country, and the best quarterback prospect since Jimmy Clausen, who ended up playing for Notre Dame. Trevor was already pegged to be the number 1 pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, and the hype for him was truly unreal. Going into the 2018 season, Clemson was going into their 10th full season under head coach Dabo Sweeney, and they were fresh off a loss to Alabama in the college football playoff semifinals. The team had lost Deion Kane and Ray McLeod to the NFL, but they had weapons ready to break out. T. Higgins, Hunter Renfrow, and Justin Ross were all options for Trevor, but he would need to win the starting job first. Kelly Bryant had started the season prior, and was originally given the nod over Trevor to start the season. The Tigers had probably the best defensive line of all time with Clelin Ferrell, Austin Bryant, Dexter Lawrence, and Christian Wilkins, and the rest of the unit was really solid as well. The Tigers opened up their Week 1 matchup against Furman, and Trevor got a chance to show his potential. He threw for 3 touchdowns in their win, and everyone knew Kelly Bryant's days were just numbered. In their Week 2 matchup with Texas A&M, the game was really close as Trevor's first pass went for a touchdown, and the Tigers narrowly escaped with a win in College Station. They beat Georgia Southern before Trevor was handed the keys to the team. Dabo made Lawrence the starter, and Bryant eventually left for Missouri. Against Georgia Tech, he threw for 4 touchdowns in their blowout win. He got injured in their game against Syracuse, but Chase Bryce came in and saved the day. He rebounded with a huge win over Wake Forest before a 300-yard game in their win over number 16 NC State. After 4 more touchdowns against Florida State on the road, he helped them put up 77 points on a terrible Louisville team. At this point, Trevor and the Tigers were in the driver's seat to the playoff, but they would have to survive one more game against Boston College. The Eagles were having one of their best seasons in years, and they were ranked number 17 in the country. The game was close for most of it, but Clemson pulled away and won by 3 scores. They had finished the year with blowout wins over Duke, and their rival South Carolina had finished the regular season at 12-0. In what was a really bizarre matchup, the Tigers were matched up with the 7-5 Pittsburgh Panthers in the ACC championship game. The matchup was never close, and Lawrence helped them punch their ticket to the college football playoff. The Tigers were given the 2 seed in the 2018 college football playoff, and they were matched up with Notre Dame in their first game. Trevor made it look easy as they beat the Fighting Irish 30-3 behind Trevor's 327 yards and 3 touchdowns. Lawrence would be given his toughest task as a player, as he was set to face off with Tua in the national title. In a game that surprised the world, Clemson destroyed Alabama 44-16 with over 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns from Lawrence. It looked like Clemson could become the next college football dynasty, and Alabama was shocked. On the year, Lawrence threw for 3,280 yards, 30 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions. He was named to the second-team All-ACC, and he was the new darling of college football. Going into 2019, Lawrence was once again supposed to take the next step, as he was considered the favorite to win the Heisman. He brought back weapons such as T. Higgins and Justin Ross to throw the ball to, plus he had an All-American running back in Travis Etienne in the backfield. They opened up the season with a Thursday night road game against Georgia Tech. It ended up being Etienne's night, but Trevor still threw for a touchdown. The following week they were matched up with number 12 Texas A&M, and it was supposed to be a close game. It was honestly closer than I thought it would be, as Clemson won 24-10 behind Lawrence's 268 yards. Their next opponent was Syracuse. For some reason, the Orange had always given them trouble, as they beat them back in 2017, and they barely survived them in 2018. In what became the primetime matchup of Week 3, Clemson destroyed Syracuse with Trevor's 3 touchdowns, and the Orange ended up having a very disappointing season. He didn't really play against Charlotte, and then they had a showdown against Mack Brown in North Carolina. Led by Sam Howell, the Tar Heels played the Tigers really tough, as they were a failed 2-point conversion away from likely winning the game. Questions over Trevor's legitimacy followed this, and it reached an all-time high in their first half against Louisville. They'd end up having a huge second half, and Trevor would throw for 3 touchdowns in their win over the Cardinals. The Tigers would then proceed to go on cruise control, as they destroyed Boston College, Wofford, and NC State in their next 3 games. They had another tricky game against Jamie Newman in Wake Forest, but Trevor's 4 touchdowns in their blowout win put all doubt to rest. They finished the season with a blowout win over their rival South Carolina, and the Tigers were headed back to the ACC Championship. This time they were matched up against number 23 Virginia. The Cavs were the 7th different team in 7 years to represent the ACC North Division, but it was no test for Trevor as he threw for 4 touchdowns in their dominating win. They made it back to the college football playoff, and they were matched up with Ohio State in the first round. In one of the best college football games I have ever watched, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields went at it until Fields threw a late interception and Clemson won the game. Trevor was now headed back to the national championship with a chance to get his 2nd ring in 2 seasons. Unfortunately, no one or no team was going to stop Joe Burrow and that 2019 Tiger team. Trevor struggled as he didn't throw for a touchdown, and LSU won the title game. On the year, Trevor threw for 3,665 yards, 36 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions while becoming a first-team All-ACC selection. Going into 2020, Lawrence and Fields are expected to meet again in the national title game, but the future of college football is really up in the air right now. Trevor and Fields have led this resurgence of the We Want to Play movement, and coaches and players and staff are taking notice, and everyone wants football to be played. Trevor took to Twitter saying he wants to play, but sadly, I don't think any players will have any say in whether they play or not. So I wonder if we'll ever see Trevor in a Clemson uniform again. Trevor is considered the next generational quarterback and will be the first guy taken in the 2021 NFL Draft. Penei Sewell is a good player, but there's no way a team will take an offensive lineman over Lawrence. I pray that Lawrence doesn't go to a dysfunctional franchise, and I think he has superstar potential, and I don't want that to be wasted. I love Trevor, and he's one of the most humble and amazing players you will ever find out there. This guy literally might save college football, and we all owe it to him. If you guys enjoyed today's video, or if you like Trevor, be sure to smash that like button and let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and help me reach 6,000 subscribers by the end of August. If you are still here, check out my video about the rise of Justin Fields and all my other college football player videos. I hope you guys had a great day, but until next time, peace.